Welcome to Let's Talk About Health, an informational podcast that gives you insights on health and fitness from experts themselves that you can apply directly to your own personal health and fitness stories. Come join me today to hear all about what they have to say on health and fitness.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. It's a good weather for a change.
It's beautiful weather here in New York.
I'm trying to be as appreciative as possible.
Yes, listen, it's Sunday and so we're going to enjoy it as much as we can. So I'll be running in this weather, but it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little gloomy, but it's okay. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. It could be worse. I'll take it. And I'm sure it'll heat up later on. So
Yes. It's gonna be very hot till Tuesday.
yes, it was hot yesterday. It was pretty hot yesterday.
Yes, yesterday was really bad. According to my patients, the patients are like my weather broadcasters. They will come and they're like, "Do you know it's gonna be hot for the next 2 days?" I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, I always travel with an extra jacket, some shorts if I got to change into, because you never know with this New York weather. It's up and down.
I'm learning.
Yes.
So welcome and thank you for being a part of Let's Talk About Health. And I have been so inspired with your story, with your journey, and I can't wait to just speak with you. And like I was telling you before, I always wanted a chance or an opportunity to work with people who have the knowledge about prosthesis or orthotics, but there are not a lot of people who will talk about it. And I'm so glad that we have one motivational speaker right here with us who is more than happy to share his journey, his story, and talk about educating more people in that field. So thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for bringing awareness to our community. And I love working with anyone in the healthcare field. All of our whys while we got in this is to help people. So the fact that we're working together to shine a light on this community, I'm excited to.
Yeah. So let's dive in. Let me start by asking you my favorite question. What is health according to you, and how would you define fitness?
Yeah, to me, health is mental, physical, and spiritual.
Mhm.
So, in my mind, I would combine all three because you need all three to work simultaneously to be successful, a successful person on a daily basis. We have so many things influencing us, whether it's our food, whether it's music and television, the things that we see. So our mental, our physical, and our spirituality, I believe, when they're aligned, that's when we're at our healthiest. And fitness to me is fit therapy. That's kind of how I see it. It's got me out of depression in so many different instances. Fitness has been my key to a lot of different avenues in this world. So I love it, and I believe that's what our bodies are made for. Our bodies are made to move.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey, how you started fitness, how you got into health, and teaching, educating people more about fitness, about health?
Absolutely. So I believe health, a lot of it. So I'm half black, I'm half Puerto Rican. My Puerto Rican side wasn't always so healthy. The food that they ate, very greasy, things of that nature. My mom always made sure that my diet was right. So I was never a kid who grew up eating a ton of fast food. My mom would cook. She still loves to cook. So I always ate good food, and I always played a lot of sports. Sports was my way to kind of show people what I can do because a lot of people doubted me because of my prosthesis. So if I can get out there and play basketball, baseball, or football with my friends and show them that I can be an athlete, I can run fast, I can catch the ball just like them, then I was proving myself as a young person. And as I got older, I loved just being an athlete and being in sports. But once COVID hit, I had to really dive into my athleticism in a different type of way where it affected my mind. And I used that dopamine of working out to get me out of depression, and then to educate others on how just much mobility, how more important it is. I think I took it for granted, even being an amputee, but during COVID, I found a new love and appreciation for mobility and just being someone who's missing their leg and having the ability to walk and run.
Right. You mentioned about the misconceptions that are there, that people with prosthesis or who are amputees cannot run like in a normal way. They cannot play sports. What are other misconceptions that are there in this field, and why do they even exist when there's so much more technology, when there's so much more advancements in surgeries with prosthesis? Is it due to lack of education, and if so, how can we work on that?
Amazing question. Amazing question. So there's so many misconceptions within our community. I'll give you a funny one first. The funny one is you walk around someone like me who's missing their leg below the knee, and people, even yesterday, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. They assume I was in military. I did not serve, so I cannot take that credit. But there's just an assumption that I served, and that's how I lost my leg. So that's one huge misconception that so many people who are amputees or someone in a wheelchair may go through. But there's so many others that we can't do things, that we're not able to scuba dive, or that it's a struggle to fly on a plane or drive a car, just do things that someone who has, a completely functional body can do. So we just have to adapt a little bit. And when I tell people who may have a quote unquote disability, that it's a mindset. And if you can adopt a positive mindset, and when someone does maybe perceive you as someone who is not able to do something or a little less than, that's a moment to educate. So to answer your last question, that's what we do. We bring awareness through platforms like this by doing educational resources, and making sure we get out there, we compete. So I'm a part of a great initiative called So Everybody Can Move. And it's spearheaded by one of my great friends, Nicole. And what we do is we're trying to push that the legislation of, let's just say, sports prosthetics and wheelchairs and equipment to be covered fully by insurance. Because right now they're only covered out of pocket, and it's a luxury. They're deemed a luxury. So my running leg is deemed a luxury, and it's very expensive. It's about $4,000. So someone who wants to play, a 12-year-old kid who wants to run track, has to figure out from their parents how they can get this prosthesis. So Everybody Can Move, that initiative, is pushing it through legislation to have sports equipment and other prosthetic components that are not covered to be fully covered for the patient. It's passed in 6 states now. Our goal is to have 28 states by 2028, right, because if 28 states cover it fully, then the rest of the country has to follow.
That's awesome. I am so happy that you're taking that initiative and you're pushing, because since I started working with insurances, and though it just pisses me off how bad it is. People are in walkers and they are in crutches. How can you say that they do not need physical therapy? Just to begin with, what I see in my field, you cannot assume. And the people who are taking those decisions are not even physical therapists. They're just workers of the insurance companies who have no knowledge about healthcare. So
true. So true.
It's just so annoying. I have fought with so many insurance companies on call. No, you have to give me more visits for my patient. But I did not know that they do not cover the prosthesis and orthotics. How is it a
So
luxury?
they cover certain prosthetics, right, and orthotics, but anything that's for a sport, you have to justify to the insurance company why this patient needs this product, this prosthetic foot, or these components. Anything that's deemed sports or athletic, then they will say they won't pay for it because that person doesn't need that for their everyday life to have quality of life, which is terrible to say. We all need to be able to move and move better for quality of life. So that's why we're pushing it. Nicole has put together a great team across the country, and she's educating the rest of us so that this way we can kind of learn and be champions in our own state and try to help others out there, for longevity.
Yeah, sports is a part of uh, everyone enjoys sports. Everyone should be able to play sports. And
Yeah.
we thank you, Nicole. If you're listening to this, you're doing an awesome, awesome job. So just thank you.
Yes.
So I have another question for you. These are some misconceptions that are in the minds of the laymen or people who are not in that shoe. But what about people who are going through and who are scared, who think that we may not even be able to play sport, but like you're saying, we can play sports. So how would you approach those people who are in the shoe and who are not able to, who are very scared basically to begin with?
Yeah, so I always say, everything that we want is on the other side of fear. So if we're scared of something, it's like
Right.
an adult who's driving a car. And when you first get your license, you're really scared to drive. You've got two hands on the wheel, you're looking everywhere. But then a year later, you're driving with one arm and you're turning the radio or texting on your phone, which is what we shouldn't be doing. But like, that's where if we were scared to drive, we wouldn't be able to go anywhere. And so I use that metaphor because fear is actually a vehicle. We usually we look at it as a roadblock, like a big wall that's been put up and it's halting us. But the truth is, it's a car, it's a vehicle to get us from one place to the next place. Everything we want is on the other side of fear. I explain that to my own children, my son and my daughter, as well as my patients. They're scared to walk, to get into their prosthetic. The biggest thing is when you get into a prosthesis, you're scared to fall. And most people who are older, they had two legs their entire life. So I explained, you fell when you had two legs. So you may fall with a prosthesis, but with the right type of support, meaning the prosthetic and the people around you, and then of course you, the PT, then a patient can have the best success and the best outcome.
Yeah, once the rehab process is all about fall, getting up, fall, learning how to fall less, or if you're falling, how not to re-injure. So once we cover those aspects, why they're more than confident, and that's how they should be. And I have noticed one big thing, especially since you mentioned people who are elderly, they have a lot of fear of fall. So it's 90% in their brain and just 10% of their body just reacting to what's happening in their brain. So if we can just talk them down to, calm down, we got this, we will, I'm around you, we have people around, like you said, a good surrounding matters. Once we talk them down, then they're more than happy to try, and they are not so scared anymore. So
Yes, and I'll add to that. So what I do, my everyday, position is a care coordinator for Hanger Clinic, the prosthetic company, which what I do is I try to see those patients while they're in the hospital. So either pre or post amputation. And what happens is when they see someone like me or someone else, a peer visitor that I'm working with that I may send to see them walk into the room with a prosthetic, it gives them confidence and the vision where they can be down the line. So when they do get to a PT, facility such as yours or around New York, they've already seen it. So that 10% of what actually happened, and the 90% of how they react, they know, hey, you know what? I did see someone walking in the hospital. I know it's possible. I have the confidence. Let me try a little harder. So seeing someone ahead of time gives them that extra boost that may help them when they're in PT working with someone like yourself.
yeah, basically everyone just wants to know that it's okay, it's going to be okay, and even if it doesn't work out in the long run how they planned it, it will still be okay because you will survive. So
Exactly.
that's awesome. I never thought about that, so there's so many small things that you have to think about when it comes to approaching people, just in general, with any issues that you're going through. We don't take mental health seriously, and I've been talking to so many people, and I'm noticing that mental health is a big part of how you see yourself and how you see your future, your vision. Is there anything that you like to do for yourself, or you like to educate people to stay mentally fit, to work on your mental strength and health?
Yes. So I'm a huge advocate for mental health. This is a big piece that I educate my students on, and the students that I coach, because I coach a lot of youth organizations and future leaders. So mental health is huge. And I'm going to be completely honest. I'll lay it out there. I was not an advocate for mental health at first. Let's say about 4 years ago or so, I was just one of those guys, like, just work harder, put it behind you. You know, that's kind of was just work harder, you know, but I was always on the go. I was always moving. And what I realized, I have been following this Buddhist monk as well. And it's just the less we move our bodies, the more we get depressed. Our bodies are meant to move. That's why we have a wrist joint, an elbow joint, knee joints, hip joints, so many, because our bodies are meant to move. But when we're in this age of screens, and the more that we are idle, we don't move, but our minds are moving, it causes more depression, which obviously leads to mental health issues. And for me, mental health really it's always been, I guess it's always affected me, but again, I was able to suppress it. And during COVID, I think it kind of came back up where I was not able to just suppress it because I was just completely, you know, by myself, with my wife, with my children, but, you know, in my own head, not being able to just be busy. And I realized how much I needed to dive back into. One, I'm going to always go back to working out. So working out is a very good indicator of just getting rid of depression. It could be pickleball, golf, just any activity that someone likes to do. I always encourage people to just get moving, get your body moving, get your mind moving. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk down the block. Do something to just boost your spirits and get your body moving. Other things that I do when I can't work out or I need other motivation, I listen to a lot of positive YouTube videos, just motivational speakers, other speakers, and I hear that affirmation, positive words of affirmation, calmness. Meditating is another one that my wife and I do a lot of. And those are my 3 big pillars, and making sure I have a good diet, because diet is key.
Yeah, my next question is about to be, how do you approach diet, sleep, fitness, all
Good segue. Good segue. I'm good at that. So, I mean, and diet is, so I say this to my students again, too, what we feed ourselves. And I don't mean just food, because what we have on this Instagram platform or other platforms, it's our social media feed. So what we feed our minds is going to affect our psyches. The diet piece, if I don't eat good, I feel like crap. I know when I'm not eating good and I haven't had any healthy food. Let's just say vegetables. Maybe I've been eating pizza and steak for 2-3 days. I can feel it in my body, the heaviness, or fried chicken, whatever it is. And I know when my diet's off. That's not my usual diet, but every now and then, you know, we splurge and we fall off. I fall short, and then I have to pick it back up. But my body can feel it. And I am pretty strict with my diet, but I do have 2 or 3 days where I just like start eating chips and junk and having beer and not doing anything I'm supposed to be doing.
I feel you. Plus, the holidays are coming so close that you're so, like, you're just surrounded with so much food, so much chocolate, so much.
Yep. And this is pumpkin time. I'm not gonna lie, I've had about 6, 7 pumpkin beers. So I love pumpkin, you know, pumpkin season.
How would you stay motivated, and how would, I know everyone just tries, I pick myself up, I'll do good diet for a week, 2 weeks, and then the 3rd week I'll just fall short. It's either work, I give 100 million reasons, you know, just to avoid that topic. But how do you stay motivated, and how do you ask your students to stay motivated?
Yeah, 100%. And my patients as well. What I tell them all is just so we always have that, like, that initial first week or 2 when we love what we're doing, we're into it, we're gun-ho, we're so all about it, I'm all about it. But like you said, maybe that 3rd week, everyone has a different time span where they start to kind of fall off. What I do is I write down. I'm a big component of writing things down and having a checklist. So the slow week, let's say it's the slow week, things are just going wrong. My head's not in a great space, but I need to get my stuff down. So that list, whether I have it taped on my wall, whether it's on my office desk, so I can just see it every day. I'll put some calendar reminders on my phone. Okay, I need to go do this. I need to go do this. And maybe I didn't get as many things as I wanted to get done, but if I could check off 3 or 4 things, then I know, okay, I got something done today. Don't beat myself up. I did something and there was progress made. So being okay with the slow progress, and not allowing today to be a waste and having no progress. And I found that once I start checking off 3 or 4 things, more than likely I start getting motivated to do 5 or 6 things. So I'm all right. You know what? I did get this done. I can knock out 1 or 2 more things, and that kind of helps get the ball rolling. That's a big way that I'm able to get myself out of it. I stop thinking, and I just start doing.
Yeah. So just slow down, but don't quit.
Don't quit. Don't slow. And write it down so you can actually see it. Get it out of your head and onto some paper, so you can see it and physically check it off. And it's almost like giving your spirit a spiritual star, you know?
Yeah. I'm noticing when I get too anxious or if I have a lot of things running in my mind, I like to type it down in my notes on my phone. So just reading that once, twice, it just calms me down, whatever the thing may be. So journaling is a big part of staying on track.
Huge part for me too. Huge part.
Right. What do you think about telehealth? Everyone is talking about telehealth. It's coming up. It's the next, it's the Gen Z. What do you think about telehealth?
I love telehealth. So we really started pushing telehealth during the pandemic. We had one specific PM&R doctor that we were working with that really pushed it here in Long Island, and then some other doctors started to follow. I actually wish a few more would, because then it would allow patients, especially in New York City, who don't have access to transportation, or there's something called Accessoride here. I'm not sure if you're familiar, where they use their insurance, but then Accessoride cancels or shows up late, then they miss their doctor's appointment, and it's a snowball effect. So telehealth has been great because then they can virtually see their doctor from home. We've had some issues getting notes back from the telehealth doctors, so that we still, that needs a little sharpening, but I believe that is the way that we're going to go for certain instances, at least for our patients, either start their doctor visits and do the evals, or final checkups, where the doctor can maybe just inspect and take a look through video. So 1 to 2 visits, that saves some money for the patient. The doctor's able to still obviously make their money, and then it obviously saves time. So I love it. I think it's a great direction for certain cases.
Right. Talking about accessorized, yes, it's another thing that's so annoying. I have my patients, and accessorized is for older people. In my clinic, it's for older people. So people finish PT 2 hours back. They're still waiting for another 2 hours for their ride to come.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. I know. We try to get Ubers for patients. We try to help as much as we can, but New York transportation, myself, I was in the city. I worked in Manhattan on Wednesday, and it took me 2 hours to get there and 3 hours to get home. I was in traffic for 5 hours on Wednesday. I was upset. I was cursing at everybody. And so I know how the patients feel when they're missing their appointments and doing things, because I'm in my car and I can't get anywhere. So when you're waiting on someone else to drive, it's terrible.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I cannot get a car in New York. My father, he's telling me, go ahead, just get yourself a car. It's easier. I'm like, Dad, I'll get my Indian side out. Everyone will be I will be cursing everybody that I come across.
It's insane. I do like it just because I get a chance to kind of sometimes be it myself. I put on some motivational, things, and I'm able to zone out. But it is brutal sometimes. And I like to have control of my life. And because maybe sometimes I might be in Yonkers to Queens to Brooklyn to the Bronx. I might be going all over, so I need my car. But yeah, if I could just go from one place to the other faster, I would do that.
Yes, and the metros are not so. I mean, they're amazing, but again, you cannot have older people climb all those stairs. It's a different cardio. It's a whole different cardio.
It's a good workout. It's a good workout. That's why we got to get them those running prosthetics and stuff. You know?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Sports that you train your patients, your clients to work. And is there a specific, I'm sorry, I'm adding to it. Is there a specific routine that you follow with people who are just starting with sports, with prosthesis?
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate to have played a lot of sports at a lot of high
Yeah.
levels. So my friends are still involved, even the sports that I'm not participating in actively, where I just have to make a phone call if someone wants to join, and or a text message where I can, hey, let's say you want to play soccer or you want to do wheelchair rugby, track and field, whatever it may be, swimming. I have a lot of friends in these areas where, let's say you're a patient, you want to get started, maybe there's a clinic or pickleball, something you want to try. So then I'm able to reach out to my friends and have this person, this patient, either go and try the sport and participate, see if they like it, and give them an outlet, because that's what we all need as people, as outlets. I think no matter what you're going through, you need an outlet. You need to be able to get up on a Saturday or Sunday and go do something active with your friends, opposed to going out and just drinking at night, because that's not activity. So just doing something that's going to get that body moving. So I'm very lucky that I have resources that if someone expresses interest to me, I can make a call and kind of get them started.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the community matters so much. I am learning that slowly. I was not a big, definitely you need family, community, but I didn't think about it, so much. I got into it because community matters so much. Looking at people who are going through depression, just by connecting them with one other person, and then they connect with another person, just talking about depression, just talking about their story helps with it solves so many problems without even having to touch them. So you have a whole community. How did you build that community? What brought everyone together, and how do you envision it to grow in the next few years?
I love that. So to me, so much community matters. I love building a community, because I felt like where I came from, I had some great family members in my corner, but I didn't have the community that I always wanted. And I realized as I got older how important it is. We're so caught up on stuff and things and materials and me and money and all the things that I have, opposed to building us as a people, us as a community, us as one. We've gotten so away from that. So in my everyday mission is to continue to build that community, to connect others, to connect people that I may have met from one world into another, and making sure I can kind of join that. And I love being a catalyst for that. It's something that I've always dreamt of. It's something that I pride myself on and I take very serious. In regards to how I've built it, has been the years of networking. It's been all the sports that I've done, and when I've transitioned to different career paths, and making sure that when I was in a different state, that I got someone's Instagram, or I got their Facebook, or I got their email or their number, and I was smiling with them. I engaged with them. I wasn't on my phone. I listened to their story. I shared my story. We built a connection. And sometimes 5 years later, me and that person may have done a project together, off of that one meeting in Kentucky or wherever we were. And that's how I built a network. And this is over a decade that I've built this is maybe, I guess, 15 years of me working on my community, to be in the place that I am at now. And that's what it takes. People want instant gratification, but the truth is it takes years of just trying to show up, be ready, and be a good person. So that's how I built my community. Where I see it going is just growth. So in my life, I've done a lot of great things, and sports is not my identity. Being an athlete is not my identity, but people do know me for being an athlete, and I try to educate in different worlds, and I want to pull that world out of it, just being an athlete, and really speak on more of the mental health, bringing more awareness, and making a social impact. And I see that being the community that I'm growing, of people who can make an impact together to do something where it's not just, hey, I'm going to be an elite athlete, because not everyone's an elite athlete. The everyday person is more so going through a struggle. And so I want to help people navigate through their struggles, and then help others navigate. And that's how I see building a community. Sorry, that was a long answer, but
No, I
it's kind
love
of just
it.
how it came out of my head and my heart.
Because everything that you said is so close and so close to your heart. It's your story, and we need more people to tell what is in their heart, what is their story. Because like you said, we are becoming so superficial that we don't think about me, us growing together. And we need people. Like, if I hear you talk about your story, and I think deep down I have a very similar story. I also had to I also had to overcome a few mental stress. Others are also, when only when you talk about your story, others can relate, and they can know that, okay, it's normal to feel that way. It's normal to have those emotions. And there is someone who's out there who is voicing it for everybody, so we can connect. So please keep talking. Thank you for that.
Of
Never
course.
stop.
No, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Well, we need each other, and we're so caught up in all these other things. We just don't realize how much we need each other. So so next year, my motivational speaking company, L'Impossible, the tour that I'll be going on is called the Together Tour 24. And so I have a ton of great schools and companies already lined up. So anybody listening, if you want me to come speak at your company or your school, please reach out to me for the Together Tour. It's going to be so amazing. And the mission and the objective is building that community. I have some great surprises. I'll be bringing some surprise guests on some of my speeches. But it's just a phenomenal thing that we're working on for 2024, and really pushing the initiative of empowering people, working together, and just showing how much we need to love ourselves and love each other.
Is it just in US? Any plans to go to India?
Oh, listen, if India will have me, I will be going to India. I've been very fortunate to speak in different countries, and India has not been one of them. So let's get India on that board.
Yeah.
I'm reaching out to you for that coordination.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch
Let's
now, since we've
do that.
yeah, I'll plan something. So we're getting to it. We're getting more. There is nothing like this in India. I have not seen anyone speak or be comfortable with the fact that they are okay to even get back to their normal life with prosthesis. So it will be a huge change, and something that people need to be more aware about in India. So we would love to have you there.
I would love to. So one of my best friends, Saranam, you know Saranam? I want
Sarna?
to say Saranam. I want to say, so my best friend was, he's Indian when I was a kid. His name was Raveen Ramsaroop.
Yeah.
But yes. So I believe that's where he's from. I can't even remember what part of India he's from, but I have to look it up. I got to try to search back in my mind. So I would love to go. So let's make it happen. Let's do it. I'm signed up.
Well, we'll have to teach you the basics, like the curses and the basics. You gotta know how to tackle with Indian people.
I'll take it. Give me the tutorial, and trust me, I'll go out there and I'll fit in well. I really can adapt to any type of community, so we're good.
Indians will love you. People out there, they will just love having you.
I
And the
love it.
content you're speaking, the spark on your face, they will love and enjoy your presence. So
All right,
yeah.
let's make it happen. I'm in.
Can you tell me what are the next few projects? That I know one of them is to go speak more to reach out to different schools. But what are the other projects that you have on your mind for the next few years?
Yeah, so currently, the biggest thing is the Together Tour for 2024. So that's what we got coming hugely. I'm in the process of working on my first book and just continuing to explore the mental health realm. So again, it's that impact. I'm driving home with that, making that impact, so everybody can move legislation. So we're pushing that here, and that's it. Just trying to be a better father. That's it. That's a struggle. My kids are getting older, so I want to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to help people, because that was always my vision, and to continue to support my family, because my kids are a lot older. So spending this valuable time with them, I've traveled so much that I don't want to be out of the house too much at this important age, because I'm never going to get this moment back. So being able to work on my projects on the side with work and building my business, of changing the world, however I can from my platform, and then just being a good dad.
You know, they are watching you. You are not just inspiring people who are in the community, but you're also inspiring your children, because I am who I am because of my parents. I saw them work so hard, not miss a day of work. Just, even if it's your own business, you don't take it lightly. You cannot skip just because it's your own thing.
If
You
you
have
don't feel like it, just because you don't feel like it, yeah. Because so it's funny, not to cut you off, but I just said this to my son, that you got to do things. It's not about just what you feel. You know, to all the people out there who are listening, we cannot only focus on our emotions, because if we lead with our emotions, we will not be successful. We can't do things whether we feel like it or not. We have to do things because we have to. So it's all about mindset. So
yeah. And I come across a lot of change in this generation, to be very honest. When we were there, we were scared to miss a day of school because we'll be missing out. We were scared to miss a day of work because we have a commitment and we value and respect that work and that commitment. But now it's a different change, and I need to tell everyone out there that, yes, like you said, you have to do it, not because you don't feel like, because you feel lazy. That does not mean you can call a day off. No, you have to do it because you committed and you have to do it. So
yep, your parents did a good job, so you have the right mindset, and I really hope people take heed to that. We
thank
have to do what we have to do, but we live in a world where everything is given to us. So it's how much do we actually have to go out and get? So that's the problem. But we're working on it, trying to do the little bit of work that we can here, on the ground. So.
they're here actually on live. My parents, they must be hearing to this.
All right, well, great. So they heard. Well, to Bhavana's parents, you guys have done a great job raising her. So
Thank
kudos to you.
you so much to them.
And get me to India. Get me to India.
Yeah, we'll see you very soon.
I love it.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to the 18-year-old Robert? To do things, not to do things. What is one piece of advice?
Oh, I love that. What I would always tell my younger self, I think now, is to just be more confident that everything's going to work out. So I used to be a worrywart, always worried what was going to happen. Will this work out? What's going to happen? So to not worry, to take a deep breath, and that everything's going to be okay.
That's really insightful. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any last piece of advice to anyone who's starting
Absolutely.
out there? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I have a quote that I will just, that carried me through the pandemic. So when I was young, I was a victim of a house fire. My house burned down 4 days before Christmas, and we lost everything. And so as a victim of a house fire during the pandemic, this quote stuck out to me because everything was so crazy. So let the fire inside you burn brighter than the fire around you. And I'll say it again, let the fire inside you burn brighter than the fire around you. So no matter what's happening around us, we can't control that, but we have to focus on what we can control, which is ourselves. And so let that light shine bright, and don't focus on what's happening around us. We just continue to shine our light, and that will do justice.
Hands up, hands down. Best, the best quote I have ever heard.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being a part of uh, this show, and just making you lit up a fire in me that I didn't know even existed. So thank you so much for just coming on this platform and speaking, telling about your story, creating an awareness, creating a community. And thank you on behalf of everyone for taking a step to be the change in the community, and inspiring so many out there who are scared, who are who are depressed, who don't know what's going to happen next. Just hearing this is going to make so much of difference. So thank you so much. I am going to start working on getting you to India, and maybe your family too. They would love to visit there. Maybe it could be like a family trip, vacation.
Absolutely. That would be amazing.
So we'll get on that thing as soon as possible. But thank you for
Thank
removing
you.
the time. And
Oh, I just want to say thank you to you for having me on your platform. The hard work that you're doing to bringing awareness to the community. I've saw some of your other interviews. You are so intelligent, and you're a light. So please don't stop. And I know sometimes it's hard, and you're coordinating, and even on a Sunday, I'm sure it's your day off. And so just continue to keep doing what you're doing, because we need that. We need more people like you. And I would say to everyone who's out there listening, just be yourself, love yourself, and uplift others.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Well, you give your kids a nice big hug from my side. I'm gonna
Thank
come visit you very soon, and all the love to your wife and to your family for being there. Family is so important. I know I miss them every single day since I'm away from them.
Sure.
So
Oh,
I'm appreciating family more. So a big hug to everyone, and I'll come drop by. I'll come meet you very very soon.
absolutely. Thank you so much. It was a great honor to be here, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You as well. Bye bye. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our talk about health. You can follow me on Instagram at bhavna.devnani, on Facebook at bhavna devnani, and we'll leave all the information in the description below. Thank you.